Guys, hey guys, I am Ritik Sahu. Here I will explain some information about juvenile delinquency. These are the contents regarding juvenile delinquency which I am going to elaborate, such as juvenile delinquency definition, and causes, and then crime and offensive behavior, and prevention, and lastly the conclusion. Now, what is the meaning of juvenile delinquency, or what is the exact definition of juvenile delinquency? So, juvenile delinquency, also known as juvenile offending, is a participation in illegal behavior by minors, juveniles, that is, individuals younger than the statutory age of majority. Most legal systems prescribe specific procedures for dealing with juveniles, such as juvenile detention center and courts. A juvenile delinquent in the United States is a person who is typically below 18 and 17 in New York, North Carolina, New Hampshire and Texas years of age and commits an act that otherwise would have been charged as a crime if they were adult, depending on the type and severity of the offences committed. It is possible for people under 18 to be charged and treated as adult. Delinquency is a legal term rather than a psychological construct. It refers to a juvenile, usually under 18 years, who is brought to the attention of juvenile justice system for committing a criminal act or displaying a variety of other behaviors not specified under criminal law. These other behaviors are usually referred to as status offences. They include truancy, curfew violence, and running away from home and use of alcohol. These are only violations of the law as a result of the child's age and his or status as a minor. These are the causes which is responsible for juvenile delinquency, such as broken homes, poor housing conditions, friends' influence, exclusions, racial discrimination, violence on TV, radio, internet. This causes is mainly responsible for committing a crime by juvenile. Then crimes and behavior for youth may be arrested for violent crimes such as aggravated assault, homicide, rape and robbery. Then aggravated assault is an assault which criminal law punish more severely due to its seriousness. Factors which rise an assault to an aggravated assault typically include the use of weapon, the status of the victim, and the intent of perpetrator and the degree of injury caused. Then homicide. Homicide offending by juvenile is relatively rare, yet approximately 7% or 8% of all murders between 2010 and 2014 in the United States involved a juvenile perpetrators. The all-in average cost to a society of a single murder is estimated to exceed 17 million, with homicide being the third highest leading causing of death among 15 or 24 years old in the United States in 2014. Then rape. Rape is a type of sexual assault usually involving sexual intercourse or other form of sexual penetration carried out against a person without that person's consent or without the permission of any woman. This is mostly done by juveniles because of their understanding and their levels of maturity. Then robbery. Robbery is the major problem for committing crime by juveniles because of their poverty. Robbery is the crime of taking or attempting to take anything of value by force, threat of force, or by putting the victim in fear. This is the graph which represents the increase in juvenile delinquency in 2007 in United States. Most of the violent crimes is including in rarely mostly done by juveniles such as homicide, rape, sexual assault, robbery and aggravated assault, and their ratio is increasingly in 2007. Now recently years the percentage of rape in India is mostly increasing day by day. Now the law for juvenile delinquency. The constitution had made the law of juvenile delinquency regarding their justice. The basic framework created by the first juvenile court is largely intact. Rehabilitation, not punishment, reigns the aim of juvenile justice system, and juvenile courts still are trained jurisdiction over a wide range of juveniles. The most notable difference between original and current juvenile law is that juvenile now procedural rights in court. These rights include the right to an attorney, the risk to be free from all self-incrimination. All states now maintain a juvenile code of laws relating specifically to juveniles. The static codes regulates to a variety of concerns including the acts and certain circumstances that bring juvenile within the jurisdiction of the juvenile court, and the procedures for juvenile court and the rights of juveniles and the range of juvenile responses to misconduct or to the need of our services. So these are the prevention which decreases the problem of juvenile delinquency in countries such as education, recreation, community involvement, creation of special programs. Education is the most powerful weapons which destroy the juvenile delinquency problem. Then recreation. Recreation is the another reason to prevent juvenile delinquency in order to minimize their pain or stress and maximize their joy. Then community involvement program. Community involvement programs provides a variety of services for individuals with intellectual developmental disability and or serious persistent mental illness living in the Minneapolis metro area and Pine Country. Then creation of special program helps juvenile in order to get the special education regarding their struggle and duties and their rights which need to be followed. Now lastly, the conclusion of this information is that the disproportionate levels of violence many urban areas are experiencing stem from a combination of macro level risk factors such as poverty and joblessness and individual level risk factors, particularly family disruption occurs. Consequently, there is a need for concentrated prevention effort in those intercities neighborhoods that experience the highest level of juvenile violence. In addition to some of the programs and strategies suggested in this report, it is important to consider strategies that work with families and impact neighborhood disorder whenever possible. Because delinquency is an ongoing problem in today's society, there needs to be more programs created in order to correct this issue. While there is many agencies already established that could help to prevent or correct delinquency, there can be some addition to the system. Facility that provide adolescents with access to sports teams like keep them off the streets, diverting them from committing future crimes, and no attendance taken, won't be punished for only showing up once in a while, and the counseling the offender instead of only blaming them, like allow the adolescents to express his or feelings, allow the adolescents to maintain a relationship with his or her family members and friends while in correctional facility, and the services with provided transportation service could be ensure safe transportation to delinquents trying to make their court debt, seek counseling or going to a group meeting. This can keep them from missing any type of required meeting. This is hoped to keep the juvenile from getting into more trouble. Services that focus on the reason that a child committed a crime, like people could work here to focus on the reason as to why an adolescent acted against the law in hopes to get it off their record so that they would not have a struggle finding work in future. Focus would be only family life and struggles and some alternate way which helps to prevent crime, such as agency could focus on what the delinquent did as a violation to the law. They could work with the individual and focus on alternate actions that he or she could have performed. If a child robbed a grocery store because there was no food at home, this agency could help find that child alternative way of getting food. Then juvenile delinquency prevention center must be established in countries, have a location in both countries and provide counseling service to families, specifically targeting families that could not afford counseling service otherwise. Allow children a safe place or talk about any struggle going on their lives, and knowledge of mentorship programs like there would be a group of people who travel around Bonn and Calais counties promoting available programs. They would target children under the age of 18 by speaking in their schools, and this would allow the children to seek information in confidently way, and this will help in decreasing the crime rate of our country and making a happy our country. Thank you. This is presented by Ritik Sahu. Thank you for watching my presentation.